Welcome to Entry Point USA, your trusted space for clear, honest, and practical conversations about U.S. immigration. If you're someone tracking the Visa Bulletin every month, comparing categories, watching priority dates inch forward, or trying to understand what these movements actually mean for your future, then you are in the right place. In today's video, we're focusing on the January 2026 Visa Bulletin predictions, a month that quietly sets the tone for the entire year ahead. Whether you're waiting under employment-based categories, family-based preferences, or simply trying to plan your next steps with realistic expectations, this discussion matters. At Entry Point USA, we don't chase rumors or exaggerate movement. We compare immigration trends, explain why certain categories move faster than others, and help you understand the logic behind government decisions without confusing legal language. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe to the channel, because immigration rules change fast, and staying informed is no longer optional. If this video helps you think clearly or reduces even a little uncertainty, please like the video and share it with someone who is also waiting. And most importantly, comment below with your category and country, because your experiences help shape future discussions here at Entry Point USA. Now, let's get into what January 2026 may realistically bring. If you're waiting for a green card, January 2026 might quietly decide your next few years. If you are watching the Visa Bulletin every single month, refreshing USCIS pages, or mentally calculating how many more years your life is on hold, then this January 2026 Visa Bulletin is not just another update. It could be a silent turning point, not a dramatic announcement, not a headline-grabbing change, but the kind of movement or lack of movement that slowly reshapes timelines for thousands of families and workers. January bulletins are dangerous in a quiet way. They often don't excite people immediately, but they set expectations for the entire year ahead. A small movement can signal confidence. No movement can signal caution, and sudden retrogression can undo months of hope overnight. In this video, we are not chasing fake optimism or spreading panic. We are breaking down what January 2026 is likely to look like, why USCIS may act conservatively, and what those decisions could realistically mean for your priority date. If you are close, far, or somewhere painfully in between, this matters more than you think. Why January Visa Bulletins are different from the rest of the year. January is not just another month on the calendar for immigration agencies. It sits right after the first quarter of the fiscal year has already unfolded. By January, USCIS and the Department of State have real data in their hands, not projections. They know how many visas were used in October, November, and December. They know which categories are being flooded with demand and which ones are slowing down. That is why January bulletins often feel cautious, sometimes even disappointing. Officers are not guessing anymore. They are adjusting. Historically, when January shows slow movement, it usually means the government is protecting visa numbers to avoid future retrogression. When January shows moderate movement, it often signals controlled optimism, and when January suddenly jumps, it usually means demand was lower than expected earlier in the fiscal year. That's why people waiting on the edge should never underestimate this month. January doesn't scream, it whispers, but those whispers often determine whether the rest of the year feels like progress or survival mode. Employment-based green card predictions for January 2026. When we look at employment-based categories heading into January 2026, one word dominates the forecast: caution. EB1, which many have relied on as a safe harbor, is under increasing pressure, especially from India and China. While it may remain current at the start of the year, the risk of sudden retrogression cannot be ignored. EB2 India is expected to move, but not dramatically. Small, controlled forward movement is more likely than any major jump. EB3 remains the most emotionally exhausting category, with constant speculation around upgrades and downgrades creating artificial demand spikes. For China, both EB2 and EB may third see slightly better movement compared to India, but nothing aggressive. Rest of world categories are likely to stay current. But even there, USCIS may slow approvals quietly behind the scenes. January 2026 is not about generosity, it's about balance. The government wants to avoid a repeat of sudden freezes later in the year, and that means measured steps now. Family-based categories. Slow progress, Heavy emotions, family-based green cards are often where patience is tested the hardest, and January 2026 will be no exception. Categories like F1, F3, and F4 are expected to move, but only in small increments that may feel insignificant emotionally, even though they matter legally. F2A remains the wild card. It has shocked applicants before with sudden retrogression, and while it may appear stable in January, that stability can be fragile. Demand patterns after the pandemic have permanently changed family-based processing. More people are documentarily qualified. More cases are pending at consulates, and fewer visas are available per country than many realize. January movement, even by a few weeks, can be meaningful, but expectations must stay grounded. The hardest part for family applicants is not the waiting itself, it's the uncertainty. January 2026 is unlikely to resolve that uncertainty, but it may clarify whether the year ahead is about steady progress or emotional endurance. Country-specific reality. India, China, Mexico, and the Philippines, not all countries experience the Visa Bulletin the same way, and January 2026 will continue that pattern. India remains the most backlogged across both employment and family categories, and any movement will likely feel painfully slow. China may benefit from slightly reduced demand compared to previous years, allowing for modest advancement. Mexico and the Philippines, particularly in family-based categories, continue to face intense demand that keeps movement limited. This is not about fairness or policy preference. It's math. Per country caps combined with application volume dictate outcomes. January bulletins often reinforce this reality instead of changing it. Understanding this helps applicants manage expectations and avoid emotional whiplash every month. January 2026 is more likely to confirm existing trends than reverse them. Final thoughts. Prepare for reality, not headlines. The most important thing to understand about January 2026 Visa Bulletin predictions is this: silence does not mean failure, and slow movement does not mean you are forgotten. Immigration progress is rarely loud. It happens in increments, spreadsheets, and internal calculations that applicants never see. The mistake many people make is emotionally overreacting to one bulletin. January should be read as a signal, not a verdict. If movement happens, prepare carefully. If it doesn't, stay ready anyway. Your documents, your job stability, and your personal planning matter more than any prediction. Hope is necessary, but false hope is dangerous. January 2026 will not change everything overnight, but it may quietly define the pace of your journey ahead. As we wrap up today's discussion on January 2026 Visa Bulletin predictions, remember that immigration is a long journey, not a single update. One bulletin does not define your entire future, but understanding its signals can help you stay prepared instead of feeling stuck. At Entry Point USA, the goal is not to give false hope or unnecessary fear, but to help you compare immigration pathways, understand delays, and make sense of slow progress that often feels invisible. If you've been waiting for years, your patience already speaks volumes, and staying informed is one of the few things within your control. If you found this video useful, please like it, because that helps this information reach more people who are silently waiting just like you. Share this video with friends, family members, or coworkers who follow the Visa Bulletin but don't always understand what it means. And don't forget to subscribe to Entry Point USA so you never miss updates, comparisons, and realistic immigration insights. Your comments matter, so let us know your thoughts, your priority date, or what topics you want us to cover next. Every comment helps this channel grow into a stronger community. Until the next update, stay patient, stay prepared, and remember, every journey has an entry point. This is yours.